is up, YouTube? It's your motherfucking boy, King Coffee. Nah, call me Tyler. I got water in my Chick-fil-A cup. Ooh, I'm looking pretty big. Fresh out the shower, I'm feeling hydrated. I smell good. I look good, and I feel good. And I have so much love on my heart right now, and I just have to share it. I was in the shower just, thinking and I'm like, dude, the shower, when I'm in the shower, that is my sanctuary. I don't know why, but that is my sanctuary. And I was just thinking about, I guess, identity, self identity. And I pictured myself giving advice to someone I love dearly. And this didn't actually happen in real life. This happened in my head, which might sound crazy, but hear me out. And it really resonated with me personally. I was just talking to someone I love, and they were telling me, yeah, I have a self confidence issue. I'm not good enough. I'm fat. I'm broke. I'm this. I'm that, and whatever shit that doesn't matter. Like all sorts of shit like that, right? I'm sure you can unravel what I'm getting at. And I let that thought go. Not sorry, I didn't let it go. I let it play out. I was like, I wonder how I'm gonna react. Because I felt like inspired by love as I was hearing them say that. And I was just like, you're not experiencing a self-confidence issue. You're just allowing everyone and everything outside of you to tell you who you are. Right? If someone tells you that you're not good enough and you put this person on a fucking pedestal, they just determined who you are. You just gave them that power to determine who you are. But you could say, fuck that. Of course I'm good enough. I don't fuck what that person thinks. Or, you can even look at it even deeper and be like, they're probably saying that because they don't think they're good enough. Let me give them some love. That's the best way to actually handle that. And I started to think about myself. I got out of that visualization. I got what I needed from it. I just felt so embodied with love. I was like, damn, I'm doing that. I'm low-key doing that. Right? I'm going on Instagram and I'm in real estate, and I watch a lot of videos about real estate. And there's some pages that are fucking amazing, but there are some pages that are so shameful, right? You're broke, you're lazy, you're a fucking loser. Get out, go make money, go to the gym, and it's like, dude, that is so not inspired by love. That's inspired by fucking, I don't know what the fuck that's inspired by, but it's for sure not love. At least not from my perspective. Because that's putting so much emphasis on a problem, like you're fat, you're lazy, you're broke. Why would you want to put your focus on that? And if that's what you're experiencing right now, that's cool. I understand. But put your awareness on what you want it to actually be, and then do that. Be that person. Shout out to my coach, Zach, who I love dearly. This is definitely inspired by him as well, because he taught me so much. But when you are giving so much power outside of you, I call it permission, not even power, because that confused me at first. Like, what does that mean to give someone power? It's almost, I would say, it's giving them permission to tell you who you are, right? It's like you gave someone a pencil and go, here, write down in this book of life who I am. And they're like, you're a fucking loser, you're a piece of shit, here you go. And you're like, oh, fuck, that's who I am. When you are the writer of your own pages. You know that song, Staring at the Blank Page Before You? She says, the rest, she was like the first, fuck, I don't know the exact lyrics, but she says the rest is still unwritten. And I took that as, wow, the rest is still unwritten, so I can write what I want my life to be like, who I am. And you don't need to shame yourself if you made that mistake to give someone else, I'll call it the pen of life, to write down who you are. Maybe you gave it to your parents and they determined who you were. Maybe you had a big fat crush on someone and they determined who you were, right? Or whoever you look up to, and they you gave them the power. And maybe they gave you a shitty meaning, right? For example, I love my parents to death, but I was born and raised in a conditionally loved home, where if you weren't performing, if you weren't being this fucking perfect human being, and nobody's a perfect human being. You're perfect internally, there's nothing wrong with you, but as a human you will make mistakes. I'm thinking of One Piece right now when Luffy was on the roller skates and he fucking flew through the wall and got disqualified in the first round. Imagine if he defined with that, like, oh, I guess I suck at roller skating. No. He said, fuck that, I'm winning this fucking race. And in the third round, he won the race. My favorite thing that I've ever thought of is just because you made a mistake doesn't mean you are a mistake. But as I was saying, I was born in a conditionally loved home. I remember, and as I'm saying this, I'm genuinely so grateful for it. I remember I was 19, 20 years old. I was young, and I was doing deals on Long Island in New York, which is the hardest market in the fucking country. Maybe California is up there too. No, it definitely is. But New York is extremely hard for real estate because it's an attorney state. The houses there are very expensive compared to the rest of the world. And as a young person, you're talking to very sophisticated people. Like, I would say 90% of people on Long Island are very sophisticated. Even if they're like very country or, patriotic, they're still very sophisticated. They're not, the people of Long Island are not fucking stupid, right? So here's a 20-year-old trying to buy a property or wholesale a property, get it at a price that is good for an investor to make money. And at 20 years old, I did it multiple times. And I remember, because I wanted validation so bad from my dad, I brought a check home, and it was for $5,000. I sold a property in Comac, New York. Right now, all the houses in Comac are probably 700 grand or more. At the time, the property was worth about 460 something, and I got it under contract for 285 and sold it for 290. And looking back, I definitely could have sold that for more, but it's okay. Anyways, I had proof of concept. I'm like, oh, I made 5,000. I did a fucking deal on Long Island in the hardest market at 20 years old. And this guy, he was a fucking lawyer. The seller was a lawyer. Yet I was able to have a good conversation with him and got him to know me, like me, and trust me. And I did the right thing. I was honest with him. I never mislead people. I was like, hey, I'm not buying this. I'm 20 years old, dude. I'm going to sell this and wholesale this to an investor. He was like, yeah, that's great. That's amazing. I remember he said, that's amazing you're getting into the business at this age. I remember that. But anyways, as I was saying, I brought home the check. I showed my dad, and I remember he said, that's it? And he kind of threw the check back at me. I felt so defeated and unimportant and not good enough. And I took that rejection of love and defined myself with it. I gave him the pen of life, and he wrote that in my notebook. Like the fucking death note. You are not good enough. That's not good enough. And then as I did more and more deals, I felt less and less good enough, to the point where I actually stopped doing the business completely. And I was doing, dude, I made on Long Island, 30 grand my first year. Barely doing it because I was so fucking battling this identity. I'd probably stop for 3-4 months, do it for a couple months, get a deal or two, stop, because I'd be like, I feel like shit, I'm not good enough. And that was my life for, how old am I now? 28. That's where my focus was. So everything I did, even when it was years later, everything that I did that was a success, it wasn't good enough, because I still had that focus of, not being good enough for my dad. Not saying he's a bad person. That's not the point of the story. I never blamed him. That's a lie. Yes, I did. But now looking back, I don't blame him at all. He was just showing me a reflection of his reality. Meaning that he wouldn't think that he's good enough. Or maybe that check made him feel like he's not good enough. Like, oh, my son can do it and I can't. I don't know. I have no idea. I have no idea what he was thinking. But the point is when he said that, I took that and clothed myself in it. And for a long time, I wasn't good enough. And that rippled effect into every aspect of my life. My relationships, my friendships, everything. I remember there was a point where I had a TikTok channel and I got it to like 200,000 followers, and I went to my mom and my brother for validation, and they were like, "Oh, your skits are so fucking weird. This is not the shit that's gonna." I remember, I really don't want people to hear this and think, "Oh, your family's a bunch of pieces of shit." They're not. It's just they come from their own belief about themselves, and they're just giving that to me, and I'm choosing to take it and run with it. So at the end of the day, it was me. But anyways, I remember I was so hyped. I was like, oh my, and I didn't even think of this until just now actually. I went to my family thinking, oh, now they're gonna love me, now they're gonna accept me, because I had 200,000 followers on TikTok. And I remember, and after this, my TikTok fell apart, and you can't even make this up. But my brother, I showed him and my mom all my skits, and I was so excited, and they belittled the shit out of it. They were like, "Oh, these are so weird. They're not even fucking funny. Like, you're such a weirdo." Um, I think I'm trying to remember. Oh yeah, like you're never gonna. What was it? I'm trying to think of it verbatim. Oh, you're never gonna be famous, and this is the type of shit that would never get you on a talk show. How horrible is that? Like literally, I was so hyped to show them, and it was for validation. It wasn't for like the love of it. Like, oh, I'm creating and I want to share this love. I went for it with the intention to be validated, and I most definitely wasn't. And that was a reoccurring thing in my life. And then I started to run to girls for validation. Oh, she doesn't want to have sex with me on the first date. I must not be good enough. Isn't that fucking insane? Because a girl who barely knows me, and I even barely know, because she doesn't want to give it up on the first night, that means I'm not good enough? That's fucking insane. And then I started to try to find validation from the craziest places. Pornography. I never drank or smoked, but mainly sex. And I'm putting it all out on the table here. So if I say a little bit of like crazy shit, I'm just keeping it super fucking real. And until you take a step back, I want to get to the point of this, until you take a step back and realize that you were giving the power to everything everyone's been saying to you, and take responsibility, you can then take it back. Because I am now here, right now, I took all my fucking power back. All of it. And sometimes I catch myself like slowly giving power, and I'm like, whoa, 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 whoa. Hell no. We ain't going to do that shit again. You don't need validation from anyone but yourself. If you love who you are and you love what you're doing and it makes you feel on top of the world, then do it. No matter what anyone says or what anyone doesn't say, you just do it anyway because you love it. And I'm so fucking grateful that I'm in the point of my life where I can also do just that. Boom, motherfucking bam. And just to elaborate, you're perfect just the way you are. And when I say perfect, it doesn't mean you're going to never make a mistake ever in your life. It means that even when you make a mistake, it doesn't mean you are a mistake. You're still a wonderful, beautiful person. I remember when I used to play sports, again, that, oh, I need to please my family, mainly my dad. I gotta please my dad, so I have to be perfect in this sport. Whether it was baseball, tennis, football, didn't fucking matter. If I made a mistake, one mistake, oh, spiraled. And then I remember I'd hear him go, oh, here he goes. He's done. Take him off. Take him off the court. Take him off the field. But I could see that it was me. I was giving my permission away. I was giving that pencil of life away. And so many people were writing in my notebook. Not even just my dad. But that's where it started. That's where it started. And I remember being on a softball team, and the moment I made a mistake, I just assumed the whole team hated me. Isn't that fucking insane? I could laugh at it now because that was an old assumption and an old point of awareness, but that's what I would do. One mistake, I swung and I missed, or maybe I struck out. Oh, the whole team hates me. I'm not good enough. I'm a piece of shit. My dad hates me. Nobody likes me. Nobody likes you when you're not a winner. Like all these crazy, crazy, crazy assumptions. But the root of it was trying to get validation. And when someone gave me validation, oh boy, was it bad. Because now they were like my drug. So if I got into a relationship with a girl and she was constantly validating me, oh my god, the moment she did it, bad. It was horrible. I'd fucking spiral. I would assume, oh, she's probably talking to someone else. She's probably talking to someone better than me. Who the fuck knows what else I was thinking? I was so creatively destructive. But you got to get to the root of it. For me, the root of it was my dad. And I'm not saying he's a bad person. He's not. He's truly not. But he also is that old awareness and that I just basically said is what he's still living to this day. He's still giving the pencil of life to everybody, and they get to choose who he is. And he's never in control of himself because of that. And I try to tell him this, and he doesn't want to hear it, and he kind of bugs out, which is fine. You know, he'll get it when it's right. But anyways, the focus is still on me. Not that I don't love my dad and want him to heal, but my reality is what's going to change other people's realities in my light. My light will shine onto everybody. But yeah, man, this is probably the most vulnerable video I've ever made, and I feel so fucking good doing it. I really do. And I hope if you made it this far that you can take something beautiful from this and apply it to your own life. And if you do, I would love to hear how it unfolds. You know, that'd be super dope. To wrap it up, don't shy away from who you are. No matter what anyone says. Like, I'm a 28-year-old guy, and I absolutely love anime, Pokemon, Nintendo, like all that shit that's quote-unquote for kids. I don't give a fuck. I wanna be the very... until the day I die, I will love that shit. And I don't give a fuck. I'll be fucking 80 years old playing my Nintendo DS Lite Pokemon Diamond. Picto-chatting my shoddy. The point is though, like, seriously, just be who you are. That's it. And when someone tries to take that away from you and say, no, this is who you are, nope. And then you write down who you are in your notebook of life. This is the life note. This ain't the motherfucking death note. This is the motherfucking life note. And on that note, I'm gonna end it here. I love you. You are love itself, in case you didn't know. And I hope you have a great motherfucking day. Did you hear that? My fucking wrist cracked.